Here's your wrestling news for November 19th, 2022. And we're kicking off today with the Bloodline, who have dominated the entire WWE in a way no other faction has. At Survivor Series, the group will enter War Games in yet another high-stakes match, but things are not looking good for Roman Reigns and his army. Sami Zayn opened up SmackDown with a segment against the Brawling Brutes and Drew McIntyre, and Sheamus vowed to Zayn that he especially wouldn't like their fifth member for War Games. In the main event, Zayn lost to Butch in the SmackDown World Cup tournament, but the Brit had no time to celebrate, immediately being attacked by Solo Sikoa. A brawl between the two sides broke out, and Roman Reigns came out to clean house, but he was confronted by the returning Kevin Owens. As Owens stared down Zayn, Reigns hit the Superman punch, but the prizefighter was able to counter an attempted spear and send the Tribal Chief packing with a stunner. The show closed with Team Brutes standing tall, and it looks like the Bloodline are on course for their first major defeat in a very long time. With one more SmackDown left before Survivor Series, there's still time for momentum to shift, but the dream team of the Brawling Brutes, Drew McIntyre and Kevin Owens may be too much even for Roman Reigns. SmackDown also saw Bray Wyatt featured prominently as expected, and yet again, the former Fiend was incredible in his role. After being confronted by LA Knight last week, the two had an in-ring segment this week, which saw Knight slap Wyatt in the face not once, but twice. Bray vowed that he wasn't going to do anything about it, but clearly someone did, as when Knight tried to leave SmackDown, a masked figure stood in the dark room he was entering. Not long after, Knight was found unconscious, covered in chairs and a garbage can, and it certainly looks like Bray was the one responsible. In his first major feud since returning, Wyatt is set to run through LA Knight, and Survivor Series might be the date when it happens. Wyatt's feud with LA Knight continued during the show, but a backstage segment that seemingly had nothing to do with Bray has also had fans talking. After defeating Madcap Moss, Karrion Kross was confronted by the Usos, who accused him of being Team Brute's fifth member, a claim Kross denied. In the background of the segment, though, fans noticed Wyatt, who seemed to be arguing with someone who wasn't shown on camera. It's unclear if the person Wyatt was arguing with is a fellow WWE superstar, a new character WWE has yet to introduce, or if there was no one there, and this outburst was just part of Wyatt's demented psyche. All we know is that Wyatt sure seemed angry about something, and fans will have to keep tuning in to see who caught the wrath of the former Fiend. Bray Wyatt has been an imposing presence on his own since returning, but it was reported not long ago that he has spoken to the company about who he wants to return. With rumors of a Wyatt 6 stable, it was reported that Bray said he'd love to work with Eric Rowan again, and also align with his real-life brother Bo Dallas. Providing an update on the situation, Zero News reports that neither Rowan or Dallas have been signed at this time, but both have been in touch with WWE. Their report added that talks between the two sides have progressed well, and confirmed the rumor that Wyatt wants him for his storyline. Bray has been one of the hottest acts in WWE since returning, and no doubt has considerable sway backstage, but whether that sway can cause Triple H to rehire two ex-superstars remains to be seen. At June's Forbidden Door event, Adam Cole suffered a concussion during his IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match, which has kept him on the shelf ever since. Before that match even began, Cole had been wrestling with a torn labrum in his shoulder, and there's unfortunately more bad news on his condition. In an update, it's noted that there is still no sign of Cole being cleared to wrestle again, and all attempts for him to pass concussion protocol have failed. It's also reported that a number of people are very concerned about Cole's condition, which comes after reports that some fear he will never be cleared to wrestle again. Ever since the Chris Benoit tragedy, the wrestling world has taken concussions much more seriously, and the last thing AEW needs is to rush Cole back into the ring before he's ready. It was just over a year ago that Cole made his debut for AEW, which came days after he wrapped up his time with WWE. But for now, the former NXT champion remains very far away from an in-ring return. At this year's WrestleMania, Stone Cold Steve Austin put on a performance against Kevin Owens that truly stunned fans with how well he worked. 19 years after his previous match, Austin was able to hold his own in the ring, so it's no wonder that WWE have spoken to Steve about another match. In the latest Observer, Meltzer confirmed that there are plans being discussed, but that anything related to Austin is being top secret. Meltzer added that 3 matches fans have been speculating on would see Austin face either John Cena, Brock Lesnar, or CM Punk, and any one of these 3 bouts would be worthy of WrestleMania. It's been rumored that Lesnar will face Bobby Lashley next year, and a Punk-Austin match would only happen if Punk is gone from AEW without a non-compete clause and agrees to return. With reports that Cena will be competing at WrestleMania, it appears that he is the likely candidate for the Rattlesnake, but who would you like to see Austin face next year? Let us know in the comments. More from SmackDown this week as Imperium faced the New Day and a mystery partner on this week's episode, which turned out to be Braun Strowman. An entertaining 6-man tag would see the New Day and Braun get the win, but there was a tease for something big in the works. During the match, Strowman squared up to Intercontinental Champion Gunther, who laid in some chops on the Monster Among Men, which had little to no effect, seemingly scaring the champion. While Ricochet took a jab at Strowman's controversial tweets ahead of their SmackDown World Cup tournament match next week, we can't see the one and only getting a win over Braun. Instead, this week's SmackDown signaled that Strowman is the favorite to win the tournament and a shot at Gunther's title, and WWE is sowing the seeds for an inevitable clash with the Austrian powerhouse, likely at Survivor Series. One name we know will be competing at Survivor Series is Roman Reigns, whose new deal with WWE signed earlier this year has seen him make fewer premium live event appearances. This week, WWE shared their promotional poster for next February's Elimination Chamber premium live event, and while many names were on the poster, Reigns was notably absent. Many have taken this as a sign that Reigns won't be competing at the Bell Center in Montreal, especially as when Reigns signed his new deal with WWE, it was reported that he'd only be competing at stadium-sized events. Elimination Chamber 2023 will mark WWE's first premium live event in Montreal since Breaking Point in 2009, and fans hoping to see Reigns will likely be feeling pretty screwed next February. After the AEW All Out investigation concluded, Ace Steel was quickly fired from the company after it was alleged that he bit Kenny Omega and threw a chair during the infamous backstage fight. Steel had previously worked for WWE before he joined AEW, but the controversial figure is now back in the ring. In the Wrestling Observer, Dave Meltzer reports that Steel has been starting his own training seminars, but there's no word on how much he's making or how many have signed up to learn from him. Given that it was Steel who first trained CM Punk, his skills as a coach cannot be denied, and we're wondering whether the all-out controversy will hurt or possibly help Steel recruit some rookies. Ace Steel is gone from AEW and CM Punk is likely next for his own actions after All Out, but the former world champion is starting to see the funny side of things. While at commentary at the MMA show CFFC 115, the topic of pro wrestling came up, and Punk joked that he's bad news and they don't want him in the locker room. This, of course, is a nod to the infamous night which has seemingly cost Punk his job with AEW, and it seems that the Chicago-made star isn't too concerned at this time. And we're ending with Bronson Reed, who WWE has made an offer to return following his release from WWE last year. Despite strong booking and a rumored main roster call-up, Reed was released, but fans may have to wait a bit longer for his return. Zero News reports that there has been talks within WWE about Reed's return being held off until late January and for his comeback to be a part of the Men's Royal Rumble match. With Reed currently working with New Japan, his return to the company isn't guaranteed, but Triple H is clearly eager to work with the former North American champion again. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.